Hello everybody and welcome back to Cities Skylines, where we are currently working on attempting to deal with our ridiculous amount of demand for low-density residential. And apparently it's nighttime. Okay. It's very strange to me that the day-night cycle only updates when you resume after you restart the game. I don't know, it's very strange. It feels like it should do like one update tick on that when it loads up. I don't know why. It just, that's what it feels like to me. So, of course, our low-density residential demand is quite high, and I would like to relocate our university to somewhere like out over here-ish. We can't quite fit it in over here, I guess. It feels like we should be able to. Okay, let's take a look at our pollution map, right? So air pollution is out over here. This would be a much better position. I suppose we could put it out over here. It's a theoretical possibility. It's currently in the pollution zone. No doubt about that. So we could put it like right out over here. And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to be sad about it later. But for now, that's what we'll do. That's absolutely fine for the moment. Now, with the sun fully down, here's a question. How are we doing on the emergency battery station? The answer is it is very slightly discharging, although it was charging. But I'm guessing as we switch over to night, electricity costs are more needed to power all of these lights. So we're currently discharging on several kilowatts. Empty in 1 month right now. We may want to consider getting one more windmill in our wind farm. That said, keep in mind 1 day-night cycle is 1 month. So it will be daytime by the time this empties at the current rate, but it is increasing. So I think that we probably should consider getting 1 additional wind turbine in our wind farm. And I would end up putting that right about here. And then we'd need an electric cable. Can we connect that directly to this wind turbine? Does that connect? I don't think so. We could connect it out over like here, right? So that would end up going, that's an overlapping item. Right, we have to go like this for some reason. Inside out or outside in? Hang on. That's giving us overlapping items no matter what. That works. Okay, there we go. Cool. So we do something kind of like that. Now we'll start producing some additional wind power. That'll be great. And if we check in over here, currently still discharging by 5 megawatts. Oh, is it because this battery is now empty? Is this our actual baseline load? I suspect this to be our actual baseline load. I suspect this battery was discharging first. If that's the case, then yeah, this being our baseline load would be a problem. Okay, so in that case, we really should consider 1 additional wind turbine. We don't need all that much wind turbines in theory. What we really need here is to build up the power level, right? We need to build up the power level of our battery so that it can actually withstand a night. That needs to be our goal there. But we'll put in a wind turbine. And with that, we can see that we are very slightly charging right now. Okay. That seems good. Very slightly charging is okay. We will outgrow this. The question is, though, can we get this battery charged up in the next day cycle? That's the real question there. Now, I'm also seeing our demand ticking up here. So that is definitely a thing. We do know that our next highway is going to be out over here, right? So we could definitely consider purchasing this tile here, and we may want to purchase these tiles just to square off our city, something like that. We're actually 1 away from getting the Explorer achievement, apparently. We'll get that. I'm not too concerned. So that's reasonably fine. We could definitely extend these highways together and finish off this meta block, which is going to be a mildly awkward one. But we already knew that. That was pretty obvious. So in that case, we could do that. I'm a little concerned about cash right now, though. Cash is definitely a concern for the moment. So we're considered negative. I'm not sure that that's true. We've been seeing our numbers going up despite it being a negative flow. This building has collapsed due to lack of maintenance. We've dispatched a fire engine to it, apparently. Okay. Interesting. We'll keep an eye on that. We also have some abandoned structures out over here that we would be delighted to get rid of. There's also this one that doesn't actually have any frontage, but that's not that big of a concern. There's one out over here too. I think this is a bug. It's not a huge concern, to be honest. So that is relatively okay for right now. The college here is waiting for an ambulance. That kind of makes sense. We don't have a huge amount of medical up over this way, although we do see an ambulance heading up that direction. We may want to consider putting in a medical clinic out over this direction, though. Somewhere like here or so. Okay, we'll do that for now, and we'll get that online. So that'll be good. Cool. For now, I'm not super interested in getting additional meta blocks going. I would prefer to wait on that a little bit. This one is still being developed, and we can see that the demand for low-density residential is kind of holding firm. I guess we could definitely start to work on this one out over here. It's not the greatest of things at this moment, but we can certainly bring this guy out. This feels straighter for whatever reason. 179 feels straighter than 180, although now that I've changed the angle of the camera, that no longer feels that way. So that's okay. We're just going to bring this guy out and over. This is going to be relatively... Actually, this is pretty cheap. That only costed a few thousand. So that's not too bad. We're going to head on down like so. We want this guy to be at a 180-degree angle, like so. Perfect. And then we can bring that out to the city limits if we wanted to, but I don't think there's any reason to at this moment. We can certainly put in a roundabout here, like that. And this highway is not actually correctly elevated. Okay, so we're going to get some refund here. It's not going to be the full amount, but it didn't actually remain elevated, and we do want this highway to remain elevated. So we want to just bring it up like this, and we can get rid of that section for right now. We go into our 4-lane, 2-way highway. Make sure that we are all lined up here. There we go. And now we can build this out. So we can build this to about here. And then to about here. And then to the city limits. Cool. Hopefully that is... Okay, that is not elevated either. Okay. I'm certain I told it to elevate, but maybe not. Maybe that was user error. Let's try this one again. Let's try this one again. I know that it, goes up significantly, right? The land goes up and away from the river, but... Okay, so we're elevated one step. I think that was the problem. I wasn't actually elevated one step there. So now we would bring this out to be approximately here. And it's not elevated. Okay. So I guess we're going to have to do this a different way. And the way that I guess that we're going to have to do this is by bringing these roads down and then just doing it one road step at a time. And this will prevent pillar issues as well. So I think that this is ultimately probably a better way of doing things. So we would bring this guy down to about here, and then this guy would come down to about here. Perfect. That'll do for now. And then we would bring our highway over like so, right? And like this, we can make sure that it's always elevated. There we go. And then this would come in over to out over here or so. Something kind of like that. Although this pillar would probably be breaking here, wouldn't it? Yeah, this pillar would be a problem. So we would need to bring this guy in to be technically right here. Then we can bring this highway down. Do we want to extend it out this way for right now? I think it's okay. We can definitely do that. There's this highway going underneath that we could potentially attach on-off ramps to, which is not really the worst of ideas. So currently this highway comes up over here, then comes up here, right? This could definitely reduce the traffic load on this highway. So I think that's not a bad idea. Traffic is flowing this direction and this direction, right? So this way and this way. So we would want to, if we were to do this, we would want to put in an on-ramp somewhere like here-ish, and then it would want to curve over like that. And then we'd want this to be an off-ramp that went something like this. That's giving overlapping items. Ah, because this is slightly elevated here. Okay, so if we were to bring this up over here and bring it in like this, that would work, but we'll need to convert the direction, right? So move it around to about there. This is not going to be a pretty set of intersections, I'm afraid, but it'll do the trick. So then this would come out and would merge in kind of like that. And then we would need one out over here that would come out approximately like that or so. So it's definitely not, you know, perfect, but it would get the trick done. So we can on-ramp here, off-ramp here, on-ramp here, off-ramp here. Yeah, it works. And there we go. People are already using it. Phenomenal. So that will reduce some of the load on this highway here and like this interchange, right? Although currently we're not really having problems with that. But it's definitely something that we can do. From here, we can extend this highway on out to go, and I want to be in straight line tool, all of the snapping on. We can extend this highway out to go over this way, although I want to make sure that we're going to be in approximately the correct directionality here. Or actually, the approximately correct altitude is more what I'm interested in. So we can bring this out to here. That'll do. Cool. So yeah, that'll definitely work. Then we can bring out this road. However, this medical clinic is a little bit in the way. So we would need to relocate that. It'll cost 15,000, and that did not actually relocate. We would need to relocate it like out over here-ish, right?
That must be most exacerbated.
Ish.
Classical music
this is not perfectly straight here, so I'm not sure if we can run a road down here.
Contrast is an entirely modern conceit, and you'll find none of that here.
Actually, we can.
Is for the layperson.
So that's cool.
Now, let's hear another one of those soulful cants.
Perfect. Wait, the medical clinic didn't actually go in. That's why. Okay, well, sure. We can put that right over here then. It's not going. Why is it not moving here? It says overlapping items, but the overlapping items is in the orange color. Okay. So what is actually overlapping here? It is...
Thanks, Jim.
Oh, it's going to be this power line. Right. It would be the power line that would do that. Can we fit it right here? Yes, we can, and so we shall. So that'll be great, and then we can run this road down to be approximately here. I guess that works. It doesn't feel exactly right, but it doesn't have to be. So then we can do something like that. Now, obviously, this elementary school is going to be blocking here. So we're going to omit this road, but we are going to build a road going down this direction. That's a bit of a placeholder. Okay, so that'll do for now. And then we would bring this road down to be here approximately. These are not perfectly straight, particularly, I think, right here. It's called Crescent Street, and that kind of worked, actually. It was kind of a crescent. So I want to just bring this up over and bring it in here, right? So have that be nice and straight. Unfortunately, we do have a bit of a pillar here, I think. But this would work. Okay, and then we can rezone this area like so. There we go. What is this? 324 Vermont Street? What is this intersection? I don't know what's going on with the intersection here. I guess this just needs to come in a straight line, right? So it would need to come in like this, and it would need to go like that approximately. Okay. And then this road here is clearly imperfect. So we could just take this road out of here temporarily and remake it, assuming that this line is correct, and it's probably not. But we can just remake it like this, and it'll be at least more correct, hopefully. At the very least, it'll line up a little bit better. So that'll be fine for right now, and then we can get this zoning redone here. There we go. And that was, of course, somewhat disruptive to the lives of the people who lived in these houses, but I'm sure they'll get over it. I'm sure they'll get over it. Okay, how are we doing on finances? The answer is actually reasonably well, so that's great. Now, if we were to try to build this over, how many pillar issues would we have? Probably significant pillar issues, if I had to guess, but we don't have significant pillar issues here. So that's good. And then we can just bring this right on in like so, and then in theory, we can connect this in down here, right? But I'm just going to take it to here for now. We're going to have to build this road along here. So we'll use the curve tool for that, and we'll just bring it up and over. Something kind of like this. And then this guy would curve up like so. That's maybe a little too steep of a curve here, actually. So then we would bring this guy out over here. I feel like that's the exact same curve, but whatever. And then would this just terminate here? I don't think it would. I think that what we would actually do here is we would have this come out and around this way, right? And then it would curve up over here. Like this. And then it would essentially become this road. Like that. And then we bring this guy in. And this guy in. And this guy would come in like that. Now, as far as where we need other roads here, it would be like here. I think this is mostly just a steepness issue. Maybe this would just remain as it is, just like one singular road bisecting this. I want to check distance here. So in theory, about right here. Not slope too steep. So yeah, we're definitely hitting some slope issues here. Maybe we just leave this area be. We probably don't need cross streets over here. So we could definitely just do something kind of like this. I mean, this whole chunk up here is not exactly correct, but sure. Really, the marquee tool would have been better for this, now that I look at it. Okay, so something kind of like that. And then we would use the marquee tool, and I would de-zone this entire area over here, although I would want to zone this entire area here. That is not the correct angle. Okay. So we could zone all of that up, right? That would be absolutely fine. And then I would like to de-zone everything up through here, like so. Maybe even everything like that. Yes. And then we could zone all of this, but I don't want to go out into that river area. So something kind of like that. That'll do for now. Okay, now we need to do some side streets here, or rather cross streets here. So that will, of course, result in, we can bring this road straight on down like so, but we can bring this guy over. That's, of course, overlapping items. So we're just going to bring it to here, 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 and then here. Okay, we might have some issues out over here. We'll see how that ends up playing out. We'll bring this road down to here. And then that would go in right about here. I think that's the ideal position. Here, 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 and here. Okay. So these are definitely cutting in over here. I'm not sure what the state of the on-off ramps over here are going to be. It's possibly going to be spicy. We'll see how that ends up going. For now, on-off ramps here would be the necessity. So that would end up meaning something like a one-lane, one-way highway, and that would go... I have no idea how this is going to go. This is going to be interesting. We're going to have some pretty major slopes here, so we're probably going to have these be out pretty wide. That works. It is not pretty, but it works. Okay, so something like that, and then we would have an off-ramp over here. We'll see how that goes. That's absolutely fine. No problem whatsoever. And then we would bring up the other ramp over here. That works surprisingly well. Okay, we'll try out this one for the moment. Up we go over here, no problem. And down we go over here, again with the no problem. Phenomenal. So then we would have off-ramps over here. Looks good. And... an off-ramp, or rather an on-ramp over here. Looks good for now. Okay, so that looks great. That's those three done. Now the question is, how is this going to work? Well, first off, this road isn't connected over here. So we should probably connect that. Surprisingly, it just goes straight on in. So this would be an on-ramp here, and we might be able to pull that off. Maybe. I don't know. This slopes down a lot. So we'll see how that ends up going. I'm pretty confident that this is going to be... yeah, it doesn't want to do that. We could have it branch off over here, in theory. It's a very, very wide ramp there, but that might be necessary, all things considered. In terms of an off-ramp over here, we could consider bringing it around over here, right? Even that is sloped too steep. So we would need it to be like out over like this. And then coming in over here, right? Surprisingly, that works. I guess we can do that. It's kind of horrific, but we'll go with it. If it causes problems, we'll revisit it. Then up here we can do an off-ramp, in theory. No problem. Can we get an on-ramp without any problems here? That slope too steep, but we can actually do it here. So we could take this on out of here, and we could bring that in just up over here just to make it a little more symmetrical, right? Is that actually connected? What altitude are we at? This is the altitude we want. Okay. So we can bring it in out over approximately here. Okay, that was surprisingly painless. I like it. So that, of course, means that we can use the bucket tool to zone all of this that is eligible for zoning. I'm not sure how much is actually able to be zoned, but we'll get whatever we can done over here. Okay, that also means that this area is reasonably fine to be zoned, but we're going to have to eliminate this section with a road eventually. So we can get all of that zoning done. That's reasonably fine. And then we can extend this road down. And this road would like terminate-ish here, right? Except it wouldn't. What I'd want it to do is I'd want it to join up with this road, which would curve up over here. That is overlapping items, an invalid shape, right? So we're going to need to bring it around over this way. Kind of like that. Now that's all one way. I don't actually intend that to be one way. So we're going to have to get those changed. And there we go. And then this would now come straight down about like that. Now that's 178 degrees, not 180. And I want to get that being the correct angle. There we go. So something like that. And then this road would get extended out further over this way. So continuing to utilize the road tool. And we would bring it in over here, right? And just kind of match this curvature of the highway here. So it would just come down over here, and then once we get here, it would gracefully curve up like so. Although, we're probably just going to expand down here, but I don't plan on removing this highway. So we're going to just kind of flow our grid around this, and for the moment, we're just going to take this straight on down to here. There we go. So that'll do for now. No problem there. And that'll give us a fair amount of additional low-density housing. We can use the marquee tool to make sure that this entire area is zoned up. That entire area is done for now. So that is fine for the moment. How are we doing on our electricity? I want to check in on that quick. 3.68 megawatts. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. We will end up having a situation where we are not generating as much out of this wind turbine. And I want to point out it's fall right now. We're currently in November. So it's going to end up being winter soon enough, and we're not going to get all that much out of the solar power plant in winter. So that's definitely going to be a bit concerning. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to see about continuing to fill out this area over here, continuing to fill out some of these areas down this way as well, with additional residential, since apparently we need all the residential on the planet. Fantastic. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. We're making money. I just now noticed that. That's very good. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video. And as always, I will see you all next time.
That's right, Glenda. But apparently that's not all good news. We're joined